Hello everyone, welcome back. It's been a while. Someone brought this to my attention, and I wanted to make a video about it. It's been a while, as I said. And actually, I've been spending most of my time at the philosophy group from my last video. I've decided not to make any more videos about that because there's really too much going on, and I'm almost on it like almost 24/7, you could say, or at least 12 hours a day. But yeah, it's been greatly entertaining, and sometimes stuff like this shows up, which is pretty interesting. So we got an article by Salon. I've never really looked into Salon myself, other than from other response videos from other people like me on YouTube. And this one is obviously about Dawkins and Sam Harris and atheism's shocking woman problem. So yeah, apparently atheism has a problem with misogyny. And to clarify, I personally don't see myself as an atheist. I've had a religious upbringing, and personally, I try to live up to it in a certain sense. I don't really view myself as Christian that much anymore, or yes and no. I have kind of. I do think my views on Christianity would be considered heretical by the church, I guess, but I don't consider myself an atheist. But I do find the subject interesting, especially considering how atheism is obviously one of the big ways feminism and movements like that have been able to get any amount of traction to speak of. So let's just go through this article, see what it says. At first blush, for some reason, I think it would be brush, but I don't know what she means by that. Did they give you a compliment? It would seem that an atheist movement would be exactly the sort of thing that would attract many women. After all, much of the oppression of women, from forced veiling to restricting abortion rights, is a result of religion. Sure it is. Unsurprisingly then, feminism has a long tradition of outspoken atheists and religious skeptics within its ranks. Suffragist Elizabeth Cady Stanton preferred rational ideas based on scientific facts to religious superstition. Major feminist philosopher Simone de Beauvoir argued that belief in God exists in part to repress any impulse toward revolt in the downtrodden female. Sure it did. Modern feminists, I mean, those are big names, and even they are not to be taken at face value. But whatever. Modern feminists, writer Kate Pollitt, received the Emperor Has No Clothes award. What kind of award is that? Is that the award for the biggest self denial, or I don't know. It seems ironic this award even exists, and feminists have been awarded with it. Award from the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Okay, so I suppose they mean religion has no clothes, but somehow it seems like the name of the award just accomplishes the opposite of what they think it means, or you know what I mean. I mean it just sounds like people who deny religion or who oppose it have no clothes. I agree, it's true. They're very transparent, and Dawkins, for example, and people like that are great examples of that. I don't think they're. Uh, yeah, I don't think they're that big of a deal, actually. But anyway, let's see. Where she said that religion is dangerous because it connects with the very terrible social energies that have lain in civilization for a long time. Oh, sure. Whatever. But despite the natural and cozy fit for atheism and feminism, the much ballyhooed new atheism that was supposed to be more aggressive political form of atheism has instead been surprisingly male-dominated. You know, if it's more aggressive and political, you bet your ass it's gonna be more male-dominated. I mean, it only makes sense to me somehow. The reason has in recent years become quite apparent. Many of the most prominent leaders in new atheism are quick to express deeply sexist ideas. How? When? Who? Despite their supposed love for science and rationality, many of them are nearly as quick as the religious counterparts to abandon reason in order to justify regressive views about women. What the fuck? Who did that? Sam Harris, a prominent atheist author who has previously been criticized for his knee-jerk Islamophobic tendencies, recently came under fire when he added women to the category of people he makes thoughtless generalizations about. Okay. Well, I guess I haven't heard about that. Please enlighten me. Washington Post religion reporter Michelle Borstein interviewed Harris, and during the interview she asked him why most atheists are male. Okay, here it comes. There's something about that critical posture that is to some degree intrinsically male and more attractive to guys than women. The atheist variable just has this. It doesn't obviously have this nurturing, coherence-building extra estrogen vibe that you would want by default if you wanted to attract as many women as men. What is... I mean... He's using scientific facts to underpin his argument. What is wrong with what he's saying? Yes, men are generally more aggressive, and that's precisely what I said a few seconds ago. That is precisely what new atheism attracts, because it's more aggressive and more political. So yes, it's going to be attracting more men. I don't get... and I don't see how that's a bad thing either, you know? At least, assuming new atheism is a good thing to begin with. Assuming there's a fight to be fought, you know? Or to be won. There was an immediate uproar among female atheists. And understandably so. As Harris didn't even consider that it could be atheism that has a problem. Holy shit! Instead, immediately assuming that the problem is women themselves. His reaction to the criticism, which was immediate and probably a bit overwhelming, was not, however, a demonstration of the tough critical posture he characterized as intrinsically male. I will tell you one more thing. His argument in the first place was not a demonstration of the tough critical posture he characterized as intrinsically male. He was very diplomatic about it. The whole point of what he's saying is, it's not that males are always like that. You know, it's just that males are a bit better at it, you know, and they are more used to having to defend their opinions from, you know, from other opinions that might form a danger to their worldview or something, you know, I don't know. And that goes as much for religion as for atheism, as for science, as for philosophy, as for any discipline, you know. If you are out there debating with people, you need to have, need to have a thicker skin than people who don't, you know, expose their ideas to criticism. Alright, Harris replied to his critics with a hyper-defensive and tediously long blog post titled, "I'm not the sexist pig you're looking for." You know, it's a pity he did that because it shows a lack of character, but and personally, I don't expect anything more than that from atheists in general, but I don't blame him either. You know, he's trying to find he's obviously flustered, you know, and he's trying to find a diplomatic response to all the outrage you people have foisted on him. His strategy for disproving accusations of sexism was to engage in more sexist declarations in the time-honored bigot strategy of saying it's not bigotry but if it's true. So yeah, you know, he thought that you would listen to reason, to science, and he brought more scientific evidence to support his claim that women don't take as many risks as men do. And that's what you get pissy about. So yes, I understand he's making the situation worse, but that's not because he isn't right. That's because you ain't listening. And the problem is that women do indeed, and you're proving his point, not have an objective grasp of reality. You know, you're not able to take scientific fact for what it is. You know, you have to react emotionally and subjectively. He's not saying there are no exceptions, for example, because they exist, but they depend on women engaging more and risking their hide for their ideas. And not every woman will do that, because usually they don't take the risk. That's just the way it is. First he warmed up with "the women are humorless" gambit. Yes, they are, declaring the estrogen vibe comment as a joke. Yes! That simply flew over the female heads. Yes, it did! You didn't get it! It was hilarious. Well, I got it. I just kind of skimmed over it because maybe I'm overstating the fact that it was hilarious, but, you know, it's a fact, and yes, I would say it too, jokingly. But personally, I don't care if what a woman thinks of me, you know. So, and I don't have a I don't have a following to keep up. So I don't care if I have mostly male or female followers. I don't have any, so it's fine. So that's why I'm making this video, because, you know, he deserves a chance. At least, pretty sure he does. He then moved on to produce an awesome cornucopia of sexist blather. Wow, awesome cornucopia. Sounds like you're fantasizing about his dick right now. Women's value is their service to men. When did he say that? I was raised by a single mother. I have 2 daughters. Most of my editors have been women, and my first, last, and best editor is always my wife. He's not saying women's value is their service to men. He's just saying, you know, he trusts their opinion. At least when it comes to editing his texts, which I would never let them close to my work. Let's be honest about this. A woman has no authority about what I'm writing. Because, first of all, I don't trust her taste, or her judgment for that matter. If she wants me to trust her judgment, she has to prove that. And I might let her read it, but the final word is up to me. So let's see. Women's inherent desire to serve rather than lead explains their second-class status. Women's inherent desire to serve rather than... Yes. For instance, only 5% of Fortune 500 companies are run by women. How much is due to the disproportionate and heroic sacrifices women make in their 20s or 30s to have families? Putting women on a pedestal is better than treating them like equals. I tend to respect women more than men. Wow! I mean, I personally, yes, I disagree with him because women should not um, receive our respect out of hand. They should earn it. In fact, they should first learn to respect their man, at least their man. But other than that, you should be taking this as a compliment, because many men do this, and it's meant as a compliment. They actually admire you in certain respects, and they romanticize the fact that you are women. So at least hand them a bone. Women who don't defer to men are bitchy. However, I don't think I'll ever forget the mixture of contempt and pity my words elicited from this young woman. Yes, I mean, it. Seriously, if I were in his situation, and I know how women react to that kind of talk. They don't like to hear it. And that's their problem, But he's right. It is very telling. They're actually proving his point the moment he says it. And not only that, you're still confirming it, Salon. You're just getting pissy over things he said, which are fine. He didn't offend anyone. He's trying to be diplomatic, He's trying to give you, to give credit where credit is due. Needless to say, for women who reject religion because it so frequently portrays women as mentally inferior helpmeets who exist to serve men's needs, Sam Harris is not offering any hope that atheism will give them any meaningful alternative. Maybe Sam Harris doesn't, but he's already married. If I understood correctly, right? His wife was his editor, right? Let's see. First and last. Most of my editors have been women. Oh, okay. Yes. So his wife also edits his work, right? So, why? So ask yourself this: why doesn't she write her own work, for example? Right? It's because she doesn't choose to. She prefers to read the stuff he writes because that's easier than to have to argue for her own. Needless to say, meaningful alternative. So, but on the other hand, maybe Sam Harris isn't what you're looking for, but there are plenty of atheists who are the kind of people you want. And you don't like those either, do you? I mean, you don't like male feminists. So, and nobody cares about that. Personally, I don't care. I have no compassion for these people. If they, if they decide to change their lives and do something useful, then I'm sure their situation will change as well. Because most of them are pretty handsome guys, and all they need to do is just, get a bit more passionate about something other than sucking up to women. But yeah, what else? It would be nice to dismiss Harris as an outlier, but sadly pompous sexism followed up by defensive posturing is the order of the day for the dominant male leadership of the loosely organized world of atheism. In a lengthy investigative piece for BuzzFeed, wow, BuzzFeed, you're all in the same bed with each other, aren't you? Mark Oppenheimer demonstrated that the problem extends beyond sexist condescension. Instead, the bros before hoes attitude of much of atheist leadership is quite likely serving to protect actual sexual predators. Go fuck yourself! This is so amazing. How the fuck is that the same thing? Bros before hoes. Okay, so since this is brought up, let's talk about that. Bros before hoes is what actually enables men to be friends. Women don't know how to be friends because they don't have any respect for each other. Men, when they have friends, they prioritize their friends over their girlfriend. Because friends don't meet nearly as often as a couple does. You know, once you get together and you're in bed together and you do all the stuff together, you know, you eat together, you sleep together, you shower together, whatever, you know, watch movies together, and all that stuff, you know. You still have friends and you still have a life out of that, you know. So men have the responsibility to each other, or they, you know, they try to uphold it for because they have a sense of honor, you know, to keep up with their friendships, to keep them, you know, going, and not let a relationship get in the way of their friends. On the other hand, if a man knows that he has to do, that he has dealings with a sexual predator, he will immediately cut him off, if not beat his, you know, punch his face in before he does that. So there is no such thing. There is no such thing. There are no people who are friends with sexual predators. Unless they don't know they are what they are, you know? But that's bullshit. How the fuck? What the fuck is this? So whatever, while Oppenheimer focused on a number of prominent sexists in atheism, such as Penn Jillette and now deceased Christopher Hitchens, who was a fan of the women are humorless trope, those are all details. They just said one thing once, and you're gonna keep bringing it up even after he's dead. He focused most of peace on accusations against prominent skeptic writer Michael Shermer. Oppenheimer quoted 2 named women accusing Shermer of sexually harassing them. A third named woman had a more alarming accusation that Shermer had taken her to his room while she was too drunk to consent to sex and had sex with her anyway. You know how women make up stories, right? Oppenheimer quoted 2 named women accusing Shermer of sexually harassing him. Yeah, I don't even know who that guy is, but it doesn't matter. It just seems like you're fucking... yeah. Let's just Google it. Who the fuck is that guy? Michael Shermer, right? Yes. Ah, fuck you. Leave me alone for now. I don't know. He does seem kind of like a low life, but yeah. Okay. Okay, well, interesting. He's interested, or he investigates pseudoscientifics and paranormal claims, so that's interesting. So, you know, they don't care what your occupation is or whatever. They'll just make up a story for you. The reaction to Oppenheimer's story was swift and did much to support the claim that the atheist community protects sexual predators, much like the Catholic Church did. Holy fucking shit, during the priest pedophilia scandal. Richard Dawkins, possibly the most famous atheist in the world, immediately went on a tear on Twitter, blaming victims for their own rapes if they were drinking. "Officer, it's not my fault, I was drunk driving. You see, somebody got me drunk," he tweeted, comparing the being forced to have sex with choice of to drive drunk. No, it has to do... Fucking shit. Even when you're drunk, it's not fucking easy to get you in bed, you know? And it's not about forcing you. If he got you in bed, chances are you went with him. And in that case, it probably is your fault. But on the other hand, you know, I'm not excluding the fact that you're actually making this whole story up, because it's happened before, and they also said it about Assange, for example. And Assange has nothing to do with this whole story, but you know, it has happened with a lot of people. So yeah. Well, I'll be back in a sec, folks. Alright, sorry about that. Had to refill my cup of coffee. Let's see. Alright, he tweeted. Alright. When called out on it, he doubled down by suggesting that rape victims are the real predators. Out to get men put in jail. Holy shit, when did he say that? If you want to be in a position to testify and jail a man, don't get drunk. Somebody asked me if I'm rich. That's rich. Alright, sorry. He's right though. You know, if you want to Jesus Christ. If you want to have a point, yeah, if you want to have a point of accusing a man of rape, you know, at least make sure you're sober when it happens, so you know you can't deny consent with a. I don't know. It's a joke. Also, well, anyway. For someone who is a supposed rationalist, Dawkins refused to even acknowledge the basic difference between making the choice to break the law and being the victim of a crime, but only for rape, of course. It's unlikely Dawkins would think it's your fault if you are standing in there minding your business while drunk and someone hits you for no reason. But if the assault occurs with a penis instead of a fist, no, it's not the same thing. The assault with a fist happens without you knowing and without you being able to react. The assault with a penis takes a lot more fucking effort to get anywhere, you know? He needs to take his pants off, he needs to take your pants off, he needs to get you in bed, you know? And if you're not cooperating, chances are it's not gonna work out. Again, this situation is no outlier. Dawkins has spent the past years using Twitter as a platform to rail against feminists for daring to speak up against sexual harassment and abuse. He not only rushed to Shermer's defense regarding allegations of sexual assaults, as well he should, but rushed to Harris's defense regarding allegations of sexism, as well he should, even more so. Even though Harris's sexism is so off the charts, it becomes downright comical. You're downright comical. I can't see how you don't realize that. It's amazing. Dawkins used to cling to the idea that he was an outspoken critic against the oppression of women, but lately he's more occupied with praising professional anti-feminist Christina Hoff Sommers. Christina Hoff Sommers. That's the, base mom, right? I'm pretty sure that's base mom. Fuck you. Fuck you. God fucking damn it. Pretty sure. Yep. And what's wrong with her? She's the nicest fucking person on the planet. And she's a feminist, only she's a bit more conservative, and she tries to make her theory a bit more, acceptable for everyone. What the fuck is wrong with her? Nothing's wrong with her. What's wrong with defending her as an atheist? It's laudable. There are many excellent feminist speakers and writers in the atheist movement, men and women, who bring the same critical eye to sexism that they apply to religion. Most of them, however, are mostly known only within atheist circles. Well, they should, why should Christians care what atheists have to say in the first place? Unless they're having a real debate, but I'm sorry. I don't see myself as strictly Christian, but I don't care about these people either. I'm just reading this article now to just see how the situation plays out in the atheism movement, because I really can't believe you people are that stupid. Most of them, however, okay. People like Dawkins, Shermer and Harris are the public face of atheism. And that public face is one that is defensively and irrationally sexist. It's not only turning women away from atheism, it's discrediting the idea that atheists are actually people who argue from a position of rationality. How can they be... turning people away from atheism is discrediting the idea that atheists are actually people who argue from a position. How everything they've said so far was rational, or if not, it was meant with a humorous, to be humorous. They only use scientific facts to say what they say about women. And it is true that women have more estrogen, and they apparently can't take a joke. You're illustrating that fact as we speak. How can they be when they cling to the ancient irrational tradition of treating women like they aren't quite as human as men? Go fuck yourself! They're just as human, but that's precisely nonetheless we're different. And, men are more on the forefront, and they like taking things head on, They like getting into the discussion and pounding in their opinion till they get the response thereafter. I don't know, it depends on what kind of debater they are, but men are generally more proactive in that sense. Women just kind of sit back and write inspirational poems, and not poems. Poetry is too I don't. I don't think women are capable of writing good poetry, but that's a different story, Everything women say is subjective, and then what you're saying here is too, it can only be taken seriously if I consider it your opinion and don't, how do you say? And there's nothing constructive that can come out of this. These people are doing their jobs, and they're doing it the best they know they can, and they're just sick and tired of you women coming around and, I want to have your position, Just do the work they're doing and you'll get there eventually. I'm not saying, nobody's saying women can't be the face of atheism, But they have to do some effort for it. They can't just, get handed that platform for no reason if nobody knows who they are or what their opinion is, You have to test your opinion. You have to, how hard is this to understand? Okay, what else? Subsequently, there's a thriving online community of people who live to harass not just women, but female atheists in particular. No, there's a thriving online community of people who live to harass exclusively female atheists. Not just female atheists in general, but feminists in particular. How is that for a turnaround? That's the way it goes. Nobody harasses women, in general. I mean, we're fine with them, we like them, and they're good fun. Feminists aren't. They're just buzzkills, so that's what the problem is. Trying to drum any women out of the movement who want to be included as equals instead of support staff for the male stars. That's bullshit. If you want to be equal, you have to work for it. So yes, maybe one way of doing it is being support staff. I'm sure Dawkins, when he started out, when he was still a student or an intern or whatever, he was support staff for someone else, for his teacher or whatever. I don't get how you don't get that. It's normal. You have to progress in the ranks to get anywhere. And it doesn't matter what kind of movement this is, whether it's religious, political, cultural, social. Even in your fucking feminist movements, there's a hierarchy. You keep denying it, but women have a hierarchy among themselves. So don't give me that shit. Alright, feminists like Rebecca Watson and Greta Christina, who upset the image of atheism as a guy thing, are subject to relentless drumbeat of abuse through social media by people who prefer an atheism that's more like fundamentalist Christianity, where women know their place. So yes, sorry about that. I will tell you one thing, right? I would prefer in general if women knew their place. Because women are just, they're just all over the place lately, and they don't know when to stop. I'm all for women having opinions and stating them. It's become so bad that artist Amy Roth created an installation where the walls and furniture in an 8 by 10 foot, I suppose, room are completely covered by the abuse of women received online. Currently on display at the Center for Inquiry in Los Angeles. Full disclosure, I shared much of the online abuse I get with her. Wow! You're such a brave woman! Oh, okay. So she dressed up a room in tweets. Wow, such art, such aesthetics. This is, well, whatever. Fuck you. Let's see. Where the walls and furniture are completely covered in abuse women receive online. Currently on display at the Center for Inquiry in Los Angeles. Full disclosure, I shared much of the online abuse I get with her. Yeah, sure, you'll do everything to fucking take a piece of the pie, won't you? I mean, Amanda Marcotte. I haven't heard of you yet. You're a new species. Well, let's see. If atheists believed in the afterlife, they would have to assume that Simone de Beauvoir and Elizabeth Cady Stanton are looking down upon us in horror, wondering how the good name of atheism has been so poisoned by the rampant sexism. You know what? I would turn it the other way around. People like Voltaire and Darwin or something, they would be looking down and they would be like, what the fuck is going on here? But you know what? Atheism not only don't atheists believe in the afterlife, atheists don't go to heaven either. So, you're just all gonna end up in the same pot anyway, and Satan's gonna be like, yeah, there's gonna be some nice soup here. But since they are no longer around to judge us, it's up to living atheists to strive to be more than a bunch of people who simply don't believe in God, but stand up for irrationality in all its forms, including sexism. That's exactly why feminism in atheism needs to go. Goodbye.